So hello and welcome to another Budget Model Railways video. I'm sorry they're not quite as frequent as they have been. Still busy doing some stuff around the house. I've been very busy with my Army Cadet role as well this week. It's taken most of my week as it happens. And also I've been very busy working on this. There's going to be over 500 individual little bricks on the front in the end. So that's actually taken 3 or 4 evenings work just to get that far. So we have been busy, it's just there isn't a lot to show for it. But what I wanted to do really was talk about something slightly different tonight, which was in these times of COVID-19 and so on, there's a lot of talk about well-being, mental health and things like that. And it got me thinking back to something I heard on Radio 4 a couple of years ago, which was a study that somebody had done effectively talking about why things like hobbies were particularly good for your well-being. And obviously it was doing the obvious things, saying that being creative is always good. It's not negative, it's constructive, you're making something. And that's always very therapeutic, whatever it is you're doing, whether it's sewing like my wife does, busy making face masks at the moment, or whether you paint or whatever. Now I can't paint, all my family can. My late father and my brothers and sisters are very talented at it. I've never had that skill, but I can model. I can visualise something the way I guess artists visualise it and draw it. I can't draw it, but I can make it. And you know, I've said my comments before about it's interesting that if you make it, it's a hobby, but if you paint it or draw it, it's art. Interestingly, if a lady does something, it's a craft. Think of needlework and so on, but it's a hobby, model railways. So that's how I create, and I'm sure it's a lot of us do. But what was interesting in this program, it was talking about some of the psychology behind it, and it was saying that, in fact, the more freelance you are, the more benefits you get. So effectively, if you're enjoying doing a hobby, and it might be, I'm enjoying sticking these on at the moment, so I've got a little box here somewhere with hand cut bricks, and this has got several hundred hand cut bricks to go on the front. But this isn't a model of anything. It's been done to go with my Kato track on my next N gauge layout. It's been fit to size. I'm sure architecturally and engineeringly it's all wrong. But what this person was saying on the radio is the more freelance a hobby is, the better it is for you. The more constraints you have to work to, although you might think you're enjoying it, oh, it's got to be Great Western Railway 1928, 1960, and the building's got to be right, and I've got to spend some time and money getting that absolutely right. And look, isn't it lovely? I've got it absolutely right. When you think about it, that's all, in fact, in some little way, stressful. So bizarrely, a little layout like this that isn't anywhere is far more beneficial. Not that there's anything wrong with the other way, but when it comes to mental health and well-being, the more freelance it is, the more beneficial it is. The more it's just you doing what you want that makes you happy, the more beneficial it is. The more you try and strive to conform to other people's rules and regs, even if that's because that's what reality was, that, you know, Great Western stations were brown and cream, so your station's got to be brown and cream. But if you think of, I had one person who said he got to sell all his locos because he changed his layout. Well, not really, or people that say they can't run their loco because it's the wrong layout. That's not really where we need to be. To get the best out of this hobby, you should just do what we do, which is do what you want to do. Whether that's like a lot of mine, my freelance UK layouts, Homeward Vale and all that, where they're nominally UK, but I don't worry too much about the architecture or the trains. If you think quite a lot of us happily run Hornby 4-wheel coaches, which are wrong. We run the Hornby Celestri coach. Even though that probably went out in the 1920s, 1930s, but we all run them. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is, we all know that hobbies are good for your mental health and your well-being, and I think model railways are particularly good because, you know, look at this. I've built a cardboard baseboard. I've had to make the baseboard. I've used foam board. I've had to wire it over the back into my controller. In our case, we use our own controllers that we put together. I've used foam, cut up foam, to make the hills, which I've then covered with pre-mixed filler and emulsion paint. And I've got grass mat here, but I've used flock static grass there out of a plastic bottle. And I've chucked some trees down and I've done my rock faces. But the tarmac's just painted and dry brushed. And in this month's Continental model, there's a wonderful, huge layout. Because it's so huge, he's just left the paper walls painted grey to be rock, and he's put a bit of scatter down for the grass. And I think it's wonderful that they thought that was good enough to put into a magazine, because he's just enjoyed himself, him and his family, making that layout. So a bit of a strange one from me, but I really just wanted to say, in these difficult times, let's not forget how beneficial model railways are to our well-being, especially if, like this, it's pretty much freelance and it's just relaxing and letting your imagination go. And I've had a few people comment on, but it's just a loop. Yep, I know, I just want to run trains around. I just like watching trains go around and photographing them. So for me, it's fine. And in fact, the next big layout, which is waiting down here, waiting to be moved, will be the same, except it'll be 3 loops. I have a cunning plan. It's Homeward Vale that's going. Adam's buying that, and that's going on Monday, which means that I can get that bookcase there out, which means I can slide that bookcase along, which means my other Engage layout can go there, and I have the room to work on it. And then I need to tidy all the mess up. But I am a messy worker. I can't pretend not to be. I sat the other day and looked at my incredibly messy workbench, and this is clean. And I've forgotten what I'd made. Painted a load of coaches, I think, and thought, how did I make that out of this mess? But it's just the way I work. I know a lot of people are a lot more organised, and I do try to be organised, but I'm not. I work in a mess, and it's just the way it is, and I'm happy with it. This is quite interesting. This is a modelling board I made in 1996. Somewhere I wrote the date over the back there. And Doug last year changed it for me and put some bits in for my tools so I can work a little bit neater. But there we go. I tend to work in a bit of a mess, but I'm quite happy doing that, and we'll get that done. And while I'm working, I can sit quietly and watch trains go around my layout. And I'm quite into my N at the moment, although I did go up in the loft the other day and felt a little motivation to get up there as well. But we'll persevere with N for a little while. We're having fun with our freelance wagons as well, working on those. Quite like the log wagon. So there you go. I hope you're all enjoying your railways. I hope you're getting the benefit out of it in these difficult times. And whatever you do, just do whatever you want to do. Don't feel constrained to follow what everybody else tells you you've got to do. After all, if we did that, 6x4 is the minimum. I've heard that so often. Homeward Vale's not that size. Neither was Greenhill Halt, our first exhibition layout. I'm not sure what the smallest size Engage people say, but this is pretty small. The trick really with small is to get lots of different scenes in so it looks different. Anyway, enjoy your railways. Please excuse us not having a lot of output at the moment with videos. As I say, real life is getting in the way a little bit, and I hope you're all keeping well, and we'll speak to you again soon. Hi, thanks for watching the video and for the nice comments. Click on the left for a previous video in this series, click on the right for another video you might enjoy, and please don't forget to click to subscribe, like, comment, etc. Thanks again.